Hello, everyone. How are you doing? You're welcome to Market Overview Trade Idea. So in this call, I'm going to be looking at a couple of assets for this week. So to the left of my screen, I'm going to be looking at Euro GBP NASDAQ. So these were trades I took last week, played out nicely. So I'm just going to talk on them, and if there is any trading opportunity, I'm going to call out. And then majorly we'll come to the red folder in this area, and then I'm going to talk about all of these ones quickly. So I'm not going to spend too much time doing in-depth analysis. I'm just going to be showing you the area where I'm believing price is going to go to and where we can look for potential buying or selling opportunities. Okay, so let's go back to the green area. The first, as you can see on my screen, this is Euro GBP. Yep. So I took a trade on Euro GBP last week, played out well. On Monday, I was looking at price rejecting from this imbalance. Already the structure was bullish. And then we had this daily liquidity that was up here, and looking at the 1 hour structure, price was bullish. So I just took advantage of buying below the weekly opening price, and I took my profit at the high of the week, right? So I bought the low of the week, not really the low, but very close to the low of the week, and I took my profit at close to the high of the week because my final TP was at this daily liquidity in this area. So it was like a 1 to 5, yeah. So paid out well. Grateful for that. So now, and then this was the second entry I called out during weekly London session calls. That's the pre-London session calls we have every day. So Monday all through to Friday. Big shout out to Charles for hosting the calls. So it was opportune to be on the call, and then I called out price. I wanted price to reject from this imbalance here, and then price rejected from there. And on the next day, which was on Tuesday, I think so. On Tuesday, I told you guys to be on the lookout for price coming into this imbalance. So if you didn't take this one with me, you missed this one, there was another opportunity to have gotten in here. And because the order flow was to the upside, because I saw price, taking out this liquidity before it happened. And that was exactly what happened. So Euro GBP played out well, bought close to the low of the week, took my profit very close to the high of the week. So it was a very amazing trading week for me. That's for Euro GBP. So now I'm deleting everything now. What do we have? Let's go to the daily time frame now. Is there any other thing I'm seeing? So I saw the price took out this liquidity, came into this imbalance. Then we had some accumulation, which I bought, and I was aiming for this liquidity to get captured. So now the price has taken out this high. The high think price is going to come further up. I do not really know, although the structure is looking bullish, right? We do have this higher high, this higher low, and this higher high, and this potential higher low. But now, since the liquidity has been swept, I'm not really seeing anything too important yet. So there is not going to be a trade idea for me on Euro GBP. All right, so Euro GBP is not trade idea. The major plays happened last week, and grateful to have been a part of that. So let's come to NASDAQ. So for NASDAQ, also big shout out to the person that called out this area for us. I remember on the call, the person said, please, what are you seeing on NASDAQ? And we actually went straight to NASDAQ, and thank God we did, right? Because we were able to be a part of this buy. So for NASDAQ, we were aiming for this daily highs. As you can see, the liquidity has not been captured yet. So for NASDAQ, the liquidity has not been captured. So therefore, there is still most likely going to be an opportunity to join this move to the upside. As soon as the high has been captured, my target has been met, or our target has been met for NASDAQ, then it's not going to be in our radar anymore. So we've been in on this trend since Tuesday. So we've been buying this. And so this was the buy, but we're looking to take a buy from this daily imbalance. And going down to the 1 hour, remember I told you guys to be on the lookout for price, giving us a break of structure, accumulation inside the higher time frame point of interest, and then that's where we want to take our buy from. It was a perfect sniper entry for us. This was my entry here. I was playing the 147.25 handle, and price really moved from there. So that was my entry after the break of structure to the upside. And then price went all the way to the upside. Now this is where we had now. So this is running about a 1 to more than a 1 to 10 or so. And 1 to 3, 1 to 6, we've passed that out already. And some of us are still in. I personally am still in, taking some profits already, quite a lot. And have my stop loss just somewhere around this area. And I'm still believing it's going to go up. So for NASDAQ, I think we should still be on the lookout for higher pricing. Full scale higher to like the 4 hours. So on the 4 hours, this is what we have. And I believe based on the 4-hour structure within the structure now, because if we are going to go with the structure, we do have this low and this high and this lower low, the lower high, and this lower low, right? Although the 4-hour was giving us a bearish structure, but because we have a very good would I say I have a very good understanding of structures and how to even take a trade that is against the structure, but actually aligns with the higher time frame structure. The 4-hour structure was bearish. Obviously, the 1-hour structure was bearish also. But because we're coming from a daily point of interest, we already kind of know that this 4-hour bearish structure should break at some point. So we are not going to be waiting for the 4-hour break before we take our trade. We can take a trade at the 4-hour lower low, believing that the lower low will lead to a break of structure. And that was definitely what happened here. But now looking at the structure within the structure, we do have this higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and this high. And seeing how we are so close to this liquidity here, I can say that we can consider looking at this 4-hour down range and this 4-hour top range here. And then maybe price can give us some kind of accumulation inside this imbalance to then go up. I know it can be risky, right? Because me personally, I will not be looking for any additional entry from here. I already have a position from here, and I'm okay with the remaining one that is going up. And just see how if we're gonna get up here. I do have my stop loss way, I think up here somewhere around this area already. So, but then if you're not in, you can be on the lookout in this area for possible higher pricing inside this 4-hour imbalance. So what I'm saying is we can be looking at this to be the 4-hour down range. I know there is a liquidity in this area because if we scale down to the 1 hour, right, if we scale down to the 1 hour, we do have this equal lows down here. So this equal lows. Now with this one also, we could be looking at all of this as a liquidity to the downside. All right, but then I would prefer the institution just please take me out first before this. But then the market can do what it wants to do, right? I mean, it was a pretty good trade. Took out this liquidity, took out this one, took out this one. So actually took out a lot of liquidity for me already. But then the major one has not been taken out yet. So with that being said, we come to the 4 hours. I just wanted you to see that there is actually liquidity to the downside. So please do not take this trade with a limit order. Wait for accumulation. Let it give you confirmation that it wants to actually buy up from here. All right, so we can look at this as the down range. That's the 4-hour down range. And we could be looking at this as the 4-hour top range here. Right, and then you can be on the lookout for price rejecting from this imbalance in this area. Okay, if we draw the fib from the swing low here all the way to the swing high, all the way to the swing high, you can see discount entry starts from 50%. So we could be looking at price really coming down into the imbalance, maybe 50%, and then price can start to reject from that area. And not only that, I'm also seeing some additional confluence in this area that we have some kind of structural level in this area, right? We had some kind of demand, and then we had some supply, we had some supply, some supply. So maybe this area can serve as a value structure area. So if you're not in, be on the lookout for price rejecting from here, possibly. Okay, that's for NASDAQ. So I'm still bullish, and I want price. I'm going to see price go up. All right, so let's come to the major ones now. For dollar index, that's for DXY. If we go to the daily time frame, so dollar index now, daily time frame. I wanted to see price come down, most likely take out this liquidity for a while now. You know, we've been looking at price, but then institutions have been doing something different. So that is why I've been really patient on DXY, and then taking a trade on EU, have been really, really patient with it. Now, from what I'm seeing presently now, in as much as we do have all of this liquidity, the structure within the bigger structure is giving us some kind of bullish momentum on the daily time frame already. So we have this higher high, higher low, higher high, potential higher low. So if at all I'm going to be looking for DXY going down the more, I would love to see some kind of breaker structure in this area. So if I'm going to be bearish on the dollar index, the only condition, or one of the conditions, is that this should give us a daily breaker structure before I can now start to look for sells on the on DXY and then buy EU going to the upside. Right. So the condition for me now, in order for me to say DXY is going to go down, I need to see a daily breaker structure to the downside. And since we do not have that yet, I'm still neutral on the dollar index. I'm not bullish, I'm not bearish. I'm just waiting to see what happens. And if I'm waiting to see what happens, go into EU now. I'm also chilling, right? Although I was looking at price rejecting from this imbalance here, because if we look at the bigger structure now, we do have this as the high, the higher low, the higher high, and the higher low, right? So, but looking at all of this area here now, I was looking at price rejecting from this daily imbalance. And then if we scale down to just even on the daily time frame, you can see that the structure is still bearish, low, high, low. And I remember Philip on the pre-London session calls, Philip called out a sell in this area from this imbalance here. So big shout out to you, Philip, for that. We were on the call. Philip called out the sell from this imbalance. Yep. And we should be on the lookout for price selling down from here. But I wasn't, I wouldn't say I wasn't positive about the sell, but I wasn't just ready to take any trade yet on DXY and EU. So I'm just waiting, all right, to see what happens. But then if you took it, played out really well, gave about, it's about a 147 pip drop. So amazing trade. We do have this daily liquidity here that we've been looking at for a while to the upside, and we have this one also. So I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen. So in order for me to take a trade on EU, I need to see DXY take out the previous higher low and establish new lower low. So until the DXY has given us a close, I'm still indifferent on EU and DXY. So for DXY and EU now, there is no trade idea yet. I'm just waiting for more candles to tell me what is going to happen. So that's for DXY and EU. Then coming to Euro Chef. So for Euro Chef, Euro Chef. What do I have on Euro Chef? Okay, yeah, I remember. So Euro Chef, we're actually looking at price, taking out this. Let's go back to the daily time frame quickly. Or you can see we had a couple of liquidities actually. So we had this liquidity that was down here, which Eurochef took out. So price had already swept this liquidity, and you can see the accumulation that happened below this low, right? Price started to give us lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, low, or this lower low actually. Price broke structure to the upside, gave us this instead, give us some bullish momentum. So after price swept this liquidity, price then created more liquidity down here, as you can see, and then went all the way up and created this daily liquidity up here. So we have liquidity to the downside and we have liquidity to the upside. Now scaling down to the 4 hours, this is what we have, right? Price came down into this. There's an imbalance here now. I think was it on the 8-hour time frame? What time frame do we have that imbalance? So I think 6 hours now. I can't really remember what time, or was it the daily? Was it the daily imbalance? I think it was the day. So on the daily, price sold down, came into this daily imbalance, right? Price came into the imbalance and rejected from there. Remember, I called out this trade during the pre-London session. I was like, I wanted price to reject from this daily imbalance. So price did that, scaling down to the 4 hours now. This is what we have, right? So price gave us this rejection from the daily imbalance, took out this liquidity that was here and this 1 year, and then price rallied all the way to the upside. We do have a 4-hour structure shift to the upside, right? In this area, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then we have a breaker structure to the upside. And I was looking at this as down range and the top range, and I wanted to play this imbalance on the 1 hour, or no, on the 2 hours rather. But then market just opened, came down into the imbalance and rejected from there. So I wasn't able to take that trade. So now on the 4 hours, I remember during the pre-London session, I was like, I wanted to see price accumulate from this area. So we can aim for this daily liquidity. From what I'm seeing now, this is also another liquidity we have in this area. So we can just change this to liquidity above and we can bring this to the right. So we do have another liquidity here now. So I wanted to see some accumulation in this area to go up. So what I'm saying is I want to see this over low, lower high, lower low, some kind of break, and then I can play the retest and then shoot for higher pricing this and this liquidity up here after 1 to 3 has been met. So now let's scale down to see what is going on inside this rectangle area now. On the 1 hour, what do we have? So on the 1 hour, we do have that breaker structure, as you can see, but I didn't take this trade. I didn't even see it, right? But from what I'm seeing now is we do have this lower low, lower high, lower low, and the price give us this breaker structure. But as I can see now, this did not hold, right? Price sold down, took out this liquidity that was resting here. So there was a liquidity sweep in this area that disrespected this structure. So for now, the structure is still bearish. As you can see, this is now the lower high and this is the lower low. So if I thought I'm going to take any trade now in this area, I'm going to be waiting for another structure shift to the upside. So yes, the first one didn't play out as you can see. So if you are taking this, definitely you would have taken a loss on this trade because this swept the liquidity. And if your stop loss was down here, depending on how you entered, you might have taken a loss if your stop loss was within this area, right? So for now, if I'm going to be looking for a buy opportunity, I would love to see some bullish movement, right? I would love to see some bullish movement. If we can then take out this previous lower high, establish some kind of bullish structure, then I would love to take a trade on EuroChef going to the upside. So for now, there is no trade idea. I'm just telling you to wait. Let us wait for more candles to print. Then the candles will tell us what the institutions want to do. Okay, so please be patient on EuroChef. It's not ready yet. It's just chill. All right, once it's ready, we will catch it. Definitely. As you can see, we have this low resistant lows here, right? So this is also a kind of liquidity here also. So let's just wait and see what is going to happen. And we also have this liquidity up here. So it's not ready yet. Let's just wait. So you can add that to your radar, see what's going to happen. So for EuroChef, not ready. All right, then we'll scale down to the Euro AUD now. So for Euro AUD, I remember I was calling out to sell. for you guys, and this did not play out. Remember, I was like, I wanted price to reject from this area, right? I was telling you guys to be on the lookout for a sell in this area, and we didn't even get any distribution at all. So there was no break of structure on like the 1 hour and the lower time frame. So even if you wanted to take a sell, that would not have been possible. But then from what I'm seeing now, I remember also during one of the pre-London sessions last week, somebody called our attention to what was going on the monthly time frame. And thank you so much for that. Right. Thank you so much for bringing this to our notice. Right. Because if we are to go with what is happening on the weekly time frame, what is going on the weekly, what is going on the weekly time frame, I wanted to see price give us some kind of accumulation in this area, right? I wanted to see price take out the liquidity in this area, and then we do have this imbalance here. And see, we have this weekly, monthly imbalance rather. So we have this monthly imbalance here. And then that is where price rejected from. So thank you so much for bringing this to our notice. That is definitely why it did not play out. Okay, that's definitely why it did not play out. That is definitely why that area did not play out, because the higher time frame definitely will supersede the lower time frame. Okay, just give me a minute, guys. All right, good. So looking at this now from the monthly time frame, seeing our price has rejected from this monthly imbalance. We scale down now to the weekly. So the order flow now should be to the upside. So we should be looking for buying opportunities to the upside. So price can actually take out the weekly liquidity, monthly liquidity. And if this is going to buy, which it is already, I believe that even after price has taken out this liquidity, price is going to come into this imbalance. So if there's an opportunity to get an entry, you could even hold beyond this liquidity and aiming for price getting to this imbalance. So now if you scale down to the daily time frame, see what we have now on the daily time frame. We have this lower low, this lower high, and this lower low. Price now has broken structure on the daily to the upside. So the daily time frame now is bullish. Right. So where now can we be on the lookout for higher pricing so we can join Euro AUD to the upside? Scale down, because seeing all of this bullish momentum, I'm sure there's going to be an imbalance. So we can scale higher to the 2-day time frame. So on the 2-day time frame, this is what I'm seeing. If we go to the weekly, what do we have? So on the weekly time frame, you see now, we do have this imbalance. This is the first candle that starts the imbalance, the second candle that creates the imbalance, the third candle that completes the imbalance. So I will be on the lookout for higher pricing inside this imbalance now. So this first one has played out. This is coming from the weekly, monthly, and then this is the weekly imbalance. So for Euro AUD, so I'm believing that maybe this week, we might have some bearishness. Price can give us some kind of bearish momentum to come into the imbalance, and then we can be on the lookout for accumulation. So what am I expecting you to do now? Chill, wait for price to come into the imbalance, be on the lookout for some kind of accumulation in the imbalance, play the retest, and aim for higher pricing. If you do that, you can be guaranteed of at least from about that's about a 600 plus pip, 650 pips above. Had difficulty pronouncing that. All right, so that's what Euro AUD, be on the lookout for that. Okay, amazing trade. Thank you so much for the corrections. Right, I cannot know it all. All right, so I probably didn't even I didn't start my analysis from the monthly. That's why I didn't see it. I was just focused on the daily liquidity to the downside. And thank you so much for correcting me on that. All right, and then Euro card. So for Euro card now, If we come to the daily time frame, or rather, if we come to the monthly, I think I'm seeing something on the monthly now. On the monthly, we do have this liquidity here. So perfect equal highs. So it seems all the euro are setting for higher pricing because we've been talking about euro, and everything is looking like it wants to go up. You see it now? Everything is looking like it wants to go up. So makes sense. This is monthly liquidity. I can just put this as liquidity above and changes to monthly liquidity. So we do have this monthly liquidity now. Okay. If we scale down to, let me remove all of this for now first. So monthly liquidity, and I'm seeing this imbalance. There's also liquidity here, and then this imbalance here. So am I going to say that price should sell down more before going up? I could just reject from there. Let's scale down to the weekly. What do we have on the weekly time frame? On the weekly time frame, we have a bullish structure, but actually bearish rather. High, low, high, low, high, break. So we have this lower low, and then we have this bearish weekly range. But since we're looking at higher pricing, I should take out this liquidity that is up here. Okay, it might not come for it quickly, but then this is a target for the future, definitely. So I was looking at price, taking out this liquidity that is here. See this liquidity, all of this area here, we have liquidity here, liquidity below, which we can call the daily liquidity, because if we go to the daily time frame now, we do have this liquidity here. And I remember calling out the trade on EuroCard on the weekly, no, the 2-day time frame. I think it was the 2-day time frame. I called out the sell. I think it was on the 2-day time frame. Yes, I remember calling out the sell, and that price should sell from this imbalance in this area, right? And then when I scaled up to the weekly time frame, I saw that imbalance was quite bigger than what I had marked out this one year. So now I'm in a position where I'm confused. If all the other euro pairs are looking to go up, like if Euro USD, Euro CHF, Euro AD are looking to go up and they are ready, then this Euro card might not expect this imbalance and can just blast through and start running for this high also. But then all things being equal, if we're going to analyze Euro card independently, then I believe you should take out this liquidity first before starting to run for this one. So for EuroCAD, I'm bearish, analyzing it independently. Okay, yeah. So now we come to, so yes, that's for EuroCAD. Now, AUD CAD, AUD CHF on the daily time frame. So AUD CHF on the last weekly outlook I did, that was on the 19th of last month. I called out a sell for AUD CHF from this area. Told you guys AUD CHF was going to sell down. And I remember I wanted to take a sell from here, but price did not come to activate us and just dropped. So far, AUD CHF has dropped about, came out with about 252 pips and then rejected to 195. So for AUD CHF, I still believe price is going to drop the more. Why? Because of this daily liquidity here. So since price has really moved this far, it should just complete it. Just come and take it out. Okay, so I'm still bearish on AUD I do not have an entry. I missed my entry up here, and since then I've not checked it. I've been busy with other assets. So AUD I still believe is going to come down. Where is it most likely going to start rejecting from now? Let's scale down to a higher time frame. The 2-day time frame, I'm not seeing anything. The weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, the only thing I'm seeing now is this imbalance on the weekly time frame. So maybe you can also mark out this imbalance. Maybe price can come there and you can get some kind of rejection to go down. So for AUDHF, I'm looking at this weekly imbalance for possible rejection. I hope it comes there, could just blast through, but I really hope price will do that. So that's for AUDHF. I'm still bearish, and my overall target is going to be this daily liquidity to the downside. All right. So GBP card. GBP card, this asset, I also called out the sell, if you remember. And so far, price has moved 291 pips from where I called it out. And I was looking at price taking out this equal lows. Perfect, sweet, amazing equal lows we have here. And that's it. Although structure is bullish, as you can see, looking at the bigger structure now. We have this, and we have this. Looking at the structure within the structure, we have this, and then price broke structure to the downside and gave us lower high, lower low, and then it broke again to the upside. Price took out this internal liquidity, and then since then, the price has been distributing. Scale down to the 4 hours now. Aside from the fact that we have this daily liquidity here, we also have this liquidity here also now. And then looking at the 4-hour structure, we had this lower low, lower high, lower low, and price broke structure to the upside, gave us some kind of structure shift to the downside, and then broke again back to the upside. Price has swept this liquidity. I'm just chilling. Seeing how it's going back and forth for GBP card. I did not have any entry yet. I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen. If we get more lower pricing, then definitely I'm going to be on the lookout for sales so I can join the institutions to take out this daily liquidity. So for GBP card, I'm not calling out any new directional buyers. I called out a sell from the last weekly outlook. I'm still on that. Okay, I'm still going to believe that's what's going to happen until proven otherwise. Okay, so but for a new area of interest, no, I do not have one yet. I'm just waiting to see. Let more candles print. We will get new point of interest. So that's it for GBP card. And then for GBP AUD now. GBP AUD, amazing, amazing trade. If you watch the last market outlook, I told you guys that I want to see price buy all the way to the upside because prices are taking out the liquidity to the downside. If you remember, I said I wanted to see some breaker structure to the upside. I wanted to see confirmation that this is going to go up, and we did have this. We actually had the breaker structure to the upside, yeah, and then price has been going up. So if you actually watched the video and you were stalking these assets, I'm sure you would have gotten an opportunity to take this trade to the upside. Going to the weekly time frame now. Going to the weekly time frame now. Going to the weekly time frame now. You can see we have this equal highs. We have this liquidity here. I'm a man of liquidity. It has always been liquidity for me. That's it. So don't ever get tired of me saying liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. Okay. All right. So GBP here we do have the weekly liquidity hop here. So I'm bullish. That's it. I mean, once you see it, you just know I'm bullish. Okay, so I'm believing that this is going to go up and where is it most likely going to reject from? Let's see the daily time frame. Let me believe that they might come to this imbalance and give us some kind of accumulation from there. I mean, I'm so going to look at this asset. So if there's any opportunity, even before it gets to the imbalance, I am going to take it. But just for coach, what are you saying? All right. I remember calling out, I think I called it out from here. I don't know. So this area, be on the lookout for price coming into this area and then some higher pricing. Okay. And if it doesn't do that, if it just starts to go up, maybe Monday starts to go up, Tuesday goes up. If there's an opportunity and everything aligns structure, everything on lower time frame, take the buy. Okay. Take it back. Take the buy. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Yes. All right. So that's for GBP AUD. Let's come to NZD-CHF. Oh, I'm tired. So quickly, NZD-CHF. I'm just going to run through all this quickly. NZD-CHF, you can see it already, right? There's liquidity to the downside here. We do have this daily liquidity. Down here, I am bearish. All right. Let me scale down to the higher time frame, the weekly. But we have nothing. So for NZD-CHF, the best place price should reject from now. Price is there already. This is the daily imbalance here. So it should reject from here. Price should drop from this area. Okay. Let me see. Let's scale down and check the 4 hours. 6, 8. So there's still some imbalances to be filled, but then it shouldn't go above this high though. So go back to the daily now. Yeah, so it shouldn't go above this area, the stop range here. So be on the lookout for NZD-CHF if you're going to trade it. I'm calling out to sell on it. NZD-USD, NZD-USD, NZD-USD. So it took out this liquidity down here, and then we have this one up here. But price is still so far from it. So not yet, nothing here. I'm just adding it to my radar in case it starts to buy and it's close to this area. I can look for buying opportunity. And then for gold, gold. I'm bullish on gold until gold is going to tell me something different. All right. On the weekly time frame, price is inside the imbalance. Okay, and this imbalance, if you scale down to the daily time frame, there's an institutional cube there. So that's why I have this rectangle line drawn. And then we have this, the daily structure is still bearish. So definitely you don't want to be buying a bearish market. So wait for structure shift. Let gold give you the confirmation it wants to go up, then you can buy gold. It's not ready yet. And then for US oil, I'm also still just watching. I'm just watching to see what's going to happen, right? There is liquidity to the downside. We have the monthly liquidity, and now we have this daily liquidity. And then we also have another this daily liquidity up here also. Yeah, so for the US oil, there is liquidity to the upside and there is liquidity to the downside. So I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen. Okay, waiting to see what's going to happen for US oil. So that is it. So these are the assets I'm looking at, all based on liquidity and order flow. Yep. So if you trade any of them, please stock it until it pays you. All right. That's going to be it for me. Do have an amazing week. Bye-bye.